Bonjour, my name is Alicia Wyneken and I'm a Cultural Studies PhD student at CGU. It is my pleasure to present Libertine, Longing for Belonging in East and for the France, at the CGU's Equity Symposium. By seeking narratives from segregated spaces in these lands where oppression reigns behind blue tourist benches and chairs, relational objects which face the sea, the project intends to bring awareness of the oppression not seen behind the locked chairs. From this awareness, individuals may be called to hesitate and change their behavior. Outside G states, hesitation does not only delay, it also opens onto elaboration and becoming otherwise. Both spaces are geographically accessible by the sea and are considered fishermen cities and relatively new French acquisitions compared to French history. The sea, the sailboats, the fish, caught as an example, the mountains and palm trees make the lands very similar. Fort-de-France is the capital of Martinique, and Nice is referred to as the capital of the French Riviera, both acquisitions in the 19th century. Movement, trade, wealth, both spaces create interesting environments for people's longing for attachment and detachment and belonging to a nation state, to the French Republic. In my work, I use a Jungian concept of belonging as well as Glissant's concept of errance and Peña's use of the va-et-vient. I am also considering phenomenology. For the purpose of this presentation, I will give a glimpse of how I'm using the va-et-vient towards understanding French subjects' narratives and their longing for belonging. Peña includes the lives of Black people in Latinidad and focuses on how the va-et-vient is at the heart of migrants globally. Vas-y in Spanish means to go and come back, easily translated as a movement from one place to the next, coming and going between belonging and unbelonging. Mapping the va-et-vient is imagined and elliptical, like the odd sculpture shown in the photo. One difference, it is not fixed to the ground. In relation to the image of the va-et-vient, let's look at the French Marianne, a bit of a libertine herself, the embodiment of the French Republic. She represents the permanent values of liberty, equality, and fraternity. The original phrase was liberty, equality, fraternity, or death, which shows violence. During the French Revolution, people fought with their lives for liberty and took lives as well in the name of freedoms and peace they sought. Without death, there is no liberty, no peace. About liberty, Foucault's staging of liberty is interconnected with violence, and subjects witness to this violence. Deterrence is essential in building a civil society. Through staging act of violence in front of an audience, subjugation is earned, and subjects within a society are drawn in. It is through this violence and subjugation that subjects find a sense of belonging. About equality, Locke states that the state of perfect freedom is a state also of equality, a state where every man has the right to do what he must to survive. Every man or every man and woman. What about citizens? What about immigrants and strangers? In addition, Schroeder speaks of the entitlement of white women feminism in the fight towards equal rights, yet a fight to liberate privileged women while keeping other structures of injustice intact. Schroeder opens the audience to a reality unseen and unspoken, the reality of white women's role in the fight towards equality. If liberty conflicts with equality and equality conflicts with liberty, what then about fraternity? As noted by Schroeder, there's a shift in the definition of equality. White women strive to become equal to white men, not Black men or women. Without fraternity, there is no equality, no liberty, and no peace. These are complicated relationships. Schroeder also gives the example of a white mother in which Indian children cling to her, which sets a parallel to white feminism as mother to feminism for all. Motherhood then adds another complicated relationship to feminism and to the Marianne. Some believe feminism originated in France in the 15th century with Christine de Pizan. If France is the mother of feminism, and France is also the father of colonialism and slavery, is feminism gendered? What about liberty and sense of belonging? What does it mean for the image of the ideal French woman of the 21st century? Has this image been decolonized yet and or queered? What about the Marianne and the va-et-vient? By bringing hidden narratives to the surface, Libertine shows how people adapt and how conservative parties may seduce their longing, especially for women in segregated spaces. For the purpose of this presentation, and due to current RB limitations, I will use the example of journalist and writer Sonia Mabrouk. Mabrouk claims her origins from Tunisia and identifies as French-Tunisian. While in East France, I witnessed several inhabitants from segregated neighborhoods adopt a very conservative mindset, if not embracing far-right politics, which I thought was very intriguing. Why integrating a system which announces your own as vermin is crucial to understanding longing for a sense of belonging. Why does far-right politics attract women and Middle Eastern women who are also targeted as the other, and the root cause of Phoenician and European problems? Mabrouk denounces anti-racism, fist up to the sky, against nation-states using a French example of Adama, who died by police force violence, and parallels it to American example of George Floyd. She mentions that anti-racism and decolonialism are concepts brought to France from the United States, and demands of the French to fall for US-centric ideals. According to Mabrouk, anti-racism and decolonialism are concepts which do not fetch French historical dialogue and are destroying the nation-state's paradigm, and for France, its core nation identity of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Mabrouk is not just one example, she is also a role model. She is a well-respected journalist. She presents in the media and literary venues. She presents herself as loyal to the nation, which allowed her to have an education. She sees France as her savior. I am hoping to address narratives of women beyond Mabrouk and how they assimilate and become loyal to the French Republic, to the Marianne, to liberty, to equality and fraternity, and how they perpetuate ideals of whiteness and conservative ideals such as joining patriotic groups as the Front National.